Hi, I'm Glenn Whipp with the Los Angeles Times. Welcome back to our Emmy Contenders series conversations. Joining us today from the TV series Glow on Netflix, Marc Maron. Hi.
How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm okay. I like the new building.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You found it, finally.
It took a minute. I didn't see it.
It's airport convenient.
Very close to the airport.
Yeah.
You can walk
Yeah.
there.
So I read an interview with you. It feels like it was about a year ago,
Yeah.
where you were just saying, still have trouble calling myself an actor.
Right.
Has that changed? Is that changing?
Well, I seem to be doing something. I seem to
Right.
be acting, and the more I do it, I'm more convinced that I can do some version of acting, yes. I've gotten better at being on camera as another person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Glow was like, I mean, outside of, say, angry promoter and Almost Famous,
That's right.
which was a character.
It was a very powerful 45 seconds of cinema where I yelled at a bus. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
well, and you can go on YouTube. Just Google.
Yeah,
or,
you can
just
find it.
Plug in Marc Maron, Almost Famous. The scene will pop up.
There's other stuff, like I did, there's a weird Mitch Hedberg movie that I was in. That was a feature film that Mitch made, and it never got released. And it's called Los Enchiladas. And I played a sort of pompous menu writer. So, if you can find Los Enchiladas by Mitch Hedberg, there's a bit of early acting in that one too.
Can I find that on YouTube? Anyway?
Maybe. I don't know what his wife did with it. I don't know what she did with it.
All right.
It's
Yeah.
around.
The Almost Famous thing is like there's a parking lot scuffle. There's you screaming.
With Noah Taylor fighting.
Lock the gate.
Yeah, and then I chased a bus in a little golf cart. Yeah, it was a full day of shooting. It was funny because Cameron Crowe was very nice to me on that shoot. And, we did all the scenes. I was hanging out with the guys, with Crudup and Jason Lee. And, I was integrated into the whole event of that, behind the scenes at the concert. But for the chasing the bus thing, everyone left. It was just the sort of the B crew, just me and one camera crew, late at night, just driving up and down, chasing a bus. Not great.
Just getting
for
that
the
right.
lungs. Yeah. It wasn't
Screaming.
and lonely. Yeah. No, it was just me driving behind it over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you get that? How did you get that part? Because that was early on.
I was a comic in New York, and I auditioned for a casting agent. I can't remember her name. And then, Cameron Crowe came in, and he read, and I improvised, and I got it.
Yeah.
It was they shot out here at the old LA Coliseum, I think.
So what did you think, like a couple of years ago, when they called you? Because you've done acting, you've done stand-up, podcast. Those are things you're best known for. Writing.
Yeah.
You did the TV series for
Yeah.
4 years, but this is a part on Glow.
Yeah.
This is a character.
Sure.
What did you think? What was your reaction? Like, we want you to play Sam, this director.
Well, after I got done with my show, I wanted to do some other acting. I wanted to try to do something more that wasn't me, or was a different character. And I read that script, and I thought, like, I could definitely be this guy. I felt a connection to the character when I read the script, and I just put myself on my phone. I videoed on my phone, had a guy who works for me do it, and I read with a woman who's my trainer. She's also an actress, and we just sent it in, and they liked it. So I was excited to get the part. I knew I could. I had a sense of who he was, and I had some things I wanted to do for him. Mm-hmm. So it was a great opportunity.
If the podcast, really nourishes your soul.
Yeah.
And it's changed your life incredibly. Yeah. Just recently, 1,000th episode.
Yeah.
What does acting do for you?
Well, it's sort of a challenge, really. I don't really get a sense of always knowing if I'm doing it right or how to do it. So, like, there's things about acting that I find boring, but there's also things that, I find challenging that I want to kind of challenge myself more on. It's a whole different craft, I guess. A lot of it's just showing up and listening and trying to stay in the character. But once you put on the pants and the glasses and get your hair done, you're sort of that guy.
Right.
And you just honor the script. But the more I talk to actors, it seems there are nuances about the actual performance that I could dig deeper into, and I kind of want to do that. So I'd like to get better at acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you I heard you say that you just, when you have actors on your podcast, you ask them for advice.
Sure, I do. I ask them questions about acting. I haven't taken any real classes, but the Actors Studio said I could come sit in if I want. So I might go check that out. I mean, you kind of learn by doing, but there's certain things about holding on to choices and staying, in the character. Like I don't always know when I talk to actors, and I don't know how immersed they get or whether they're lying, but it's all sort of pretending. But it seems that if you pretend deeply, it can be a fairly satisfying occupation.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't know if I'm pretending deeply enough.
Is that something that you've tried more and more? And I don't even know, is Glow season 3, is that done?
Yeah, that's done, yeah.
Is it coming out in June again?
I think it's coming out later. I think it's coming out in August this year. I don't really know. I haven't been given all the information. I do know what happened during the season that I was involved with, which I can't tell you. But I do not know when the world will see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the last time we saw all the characters, they were on a bus heading to Vegas.
Well, this season we're in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do know also that I'm going to be on another Netflix series called Easy, Joe Swanberg's Easy, which I think that's out later this month.
Yeah.
I did one episode of that, which I'm very proud of, actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that you're having too much trouble wrapping your head around the idea that you're an actor, because I go on your IMDb page and you're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but again, I'm okay with calling myself an actor or a guy that acts, but I think there has to come a time where I challenge myself to really transform as much as I can into somebody very different than me. It seems like a lot of the stuff I'm doing is sort of within the range of me, give or take, shut some things off, turn some things on, less neurotic, more neurotic, whatever. But maybe I'm being too hard on myself, but there seems to, I would like an opportunity to have the courage to do something completely kind of emotionally risky and challenging in that way.
So a lot of the things you've gotten still are not that far removed from what people would consider your persona.
Yeah, I mean, they're all people I'm familiar with. Yeah,
but
angry, cranky,
but
curmudgeonly,
underneath,
intense. Yeah, sweet, relatively sensitive guy underneath. Yeah, I mean, I like it. I like doing the acting. I'm going to go do. I believe I'm shooting this movie soon that should be maybe a little different. I just don't know, because you watch big actors, movie stars, and they're always kind of themselves. But there's certain guys that are. I mean, there are real actors who really transform. But you look at like Clooney or somebody like, and not that I'm comparing myself, but what I get is you're just doing some variation of yourself. But they seem to be doing that too. The people that really sort of transform themselves are kind of rare.
Yeah. Well, you were on set. You did a scene on the Joker.
Yeah, with De Niro. Yeah.
And Joaquin Phoenix was.
Yeah.
Did you do the scene just with De Niro? Was Joaquin?
No, they were both there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Joaquin Phoenix is playing the Joker in this Todd Phillips movie that's coming out in October.
Yeah. He was not very accessible. He was
transformed, right?
He was in it, yeah, definitely. He wasn't. He was definitely locked into whatever he was doing to be the Joker. De Niro didn't have that much work to do, but he was there.
Yeah.
And he was a little more accessible. I could talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a little shy though.
Yeah, he is. I guess it's shy. I think. I mean, is it shy, or is it just that he doesn't feel like he has? If he doesn't have something to say, he's not going to say it. I imagine with people he knows, he's pretty talkative, pretty open.
Probably, yeah. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and there's a lot of pauses.
Yeah, I think,
and
a lot of space.
And you're drawing him out, and it takes some time.
Yeah, and what'd you get? Did you get him out?
A little bit, yeah. Talking about his family.
Yeah.
At the time, this is several years ago, so talking about, you talk to a dad who's got teenagers, they always have some stories to tell.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You got those out of him, huh?
Yeah. But so you had this, and then they just called you up, say, hey, you want to do a scene with Robert De Niro and Joaquin Phoenix in this Joker movie.
I don't know if it was. I had read for another part in the movie, and Todd, I guess, is a fan of mine, and I'd read for another part, a hotel clerk, and then they brought me in for this other part, this TV producer part, and they gave me that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a huge part, but it's a nice.
Is it a good scene?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, again, I don't know if I could really, I could kind of dig in, but like, that's the thing about these small scenes. I did a small scene in another movie too, this Michael Keaton movie. Like, if you're only doing a page and a half of dialogue, it's fun to be on screen, but what's the work there?
Right.
You wait all day to do this, page and a half. Like I had this thing happen with this Michael Keaton movie that I just did this scene in. I think it's called What's Life Worth, I think it's called. It's about the 9/11 fund. It's about that guy, Feinberg, the lawyer that had to put together the 9/11 fund.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a book, and Keaton plays him. But I had this one scene where I play a lawyer for 5 lines, and I'm waiting around for 8 hours. So I'm like, I'm ready to go. And I do a take, and the director's like, a little intense. I'm like, well, yeah, I've been running those lines in someone else's clothes for 6 hours in a trailer. I'm going to be a little worked up. So I had to take it down a notch.
Came in hot.
Yeah, I always do.
Yeah.
That was also happened with De Niro, too.
Yeah.
Where Todd Phillips goes, just take it down a notch. You're like, well, I'm excited. I guess I'm that guy. I need a take or two to calm down.
Right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Is the movie that you're talking about that you have maybe a different character a little bit, is that the Stardust movie?
Yeah.
And that's
the Bowie
David
movie,
Bowie
right?
coming to America in 1971 and developing Ziggy Stardust.
Kinda. I mean, I guess it seems to be like just that part of it is like this, just a couple week window of a sort of a tour that just didn't happen. He had come here without the proper papers, and he couldn't really do shows, but he was here, and it was just after Space Oddity. I'm going to play, if everything works out, the publicist for Mercury Records, who sort of takes him around, to radio stations, and I try to get him some makeshift gigs and stuff. But yeah, he's sort of nebulous in terms of who he is at that point, and a little lost. So this is pre-Ziggy's, but I guess the idea is the events that happen in this film through flashbacks and through the time in America is sort of what leads him to decide to become Ziggy.
That sounds pretty great.
Yeah, it's cool. A lot of people are kind of like, their immediate reactions like, oh, a biopic. But I don't know if it is a biopic. It's really this weird small slice of time that's very specific.
I think those are the best movies.
Yeah, it's good.
When it comes to bio movies. If
I
you're
do
looking
too.
at somebody's life, just go a thin slice.
Yeah, because the whole arc gets a little ridiculous. It's hard not to be broad and
Yeah.
Yeah.
After Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, I don't think you can do that anymore.
They do it. They just
They do
come
it.
on. That Queen movie was huge.
Made a few dollars, didn't it?
But yeah, it wasn't bad. But it was limited. I mean, I enjoyed the music and the pace, and there was a good sort of denouement. You're happy that he went back and did the thing. It was triumphant. It had the effect. But I don't know if it was a thoroughly. I don't know. I would imagine that the band and whatnot was probably a little deeper, and the tensions were a little deeper.
Did you feel with Glow? I mean, the second season was pretty great.
I liked the second season.
It really built on season one, but it went deeper.
Yeah.
And kind of gave everyone a little bit more to do.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the advantage of a second season. You already know these characters, so you can start to explore them more. Right. Did you feel like you had that chance?
Well, yeah. Well, this one, because of the way that the season is structured around the show being I can't tell you too much, but I mean, the show is in Vegas, so it's a set show.
Yeah.
So, people are sort of living their lives outside of that. Like Sam certainly is. Like in this season, I'm doing other things. So my story has less to do with the actual show of glow and more to do with some other things in my life and some other things happening.
Well, season 2 is great with Sam and Justine, that story where you saw him kind of taking steps.
Or trying to be a parent in some weird way.
And connecting with another human being, who was his daughter, but
Yeah, I think Sam is, you get more of, he reveals a little more. He becomes a little more human this season too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In 3?
In 3, yeah.
Is there going to be any continuation? Well, you probably can't tell me, but I'll ask anyway.
Go ahead.
The Sam and Ruth kind of.
Well, that
thing,
sort of something has to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It was interesting in 2 how they played it.
Yeah, the tension was unbearable.
Yeah, for you or for the audience.
Well, just like those two. Something certainly feels like it should happen.
Yeah. So that will be explored a bit in 3.
I didn't say that. I feel like it should be.
You feel like it should be. Whether they listen to you or not, we don't know.
No, I know what happened, but yeah, it's satisfying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you satisfied? You talked about you show up on set, and I know you had very definite ideas about what Sam, once you got the role, Sam, his clothes should be, what he should look like. So putting that on, that just puts you right in the character.
Sure, yeah, it does. I did have that fear of am I going to know this guy again when I go back? Is it going to come back to me? But these are scripted shows, so we're not riffing. Which I've done that kind of work too, which is sort of interesting. Like in that episode of Easy this season on Netflix, that's all improvised. And I just did a film with Lynn Shelton that was all improvised. But the benefit of Sam is that you honor the script, so that's who that guy is. It's on the page, so it's going to come back. It's going to drop in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that makes that a little tighter and a little easier to sort of do. And also in this season, he is a little more emotional, and there is, I think what really starts to happen, certainly in this season for Sam, is that there's more scenes with just 1 or 2 people as opposed to 14 people. It gets a little tricky when all the ring scenes or when everybody's together. I think I've said publicly that sitting around waiting to shoot is long. You got to figure out how to really kind of manage your time or what you're going to do at that time or do the work, whatever you need to do. But it's much more exciting when you have meaty scenes with 1 person or 2 people, and there was a lot of that this season for me, so that was good.
And when you say this season, we're talking
3.
Okay, but there was that in 2.
Yeah,
too.
definitely. It's just better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was also there was some wrestling stuff too, and but there's stuff between me and Ruth and other characters that were that's when acting gets exciting, is when you can sort of focus in and you're not just standing there waiting.
Yeah. Have you learned what to do in the waiting hours and hours?
I read. I try to work on the lines, or sometimes I'll watch TV on my phone.
Okay.
I don't like being in trailers though, so a lot of times I just hang around the set.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, sit in a chair by a monitor, like I'm one of the producers.
That helps you get in character a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I just like being part of the thing. You know what I mean? Trailers seem very isolating sometimes.
It is isolating. You're just there, and it's
they're not
small
particularly.
space.
Yeah, they're not great.
Yeah.
They're okay, but you want to spend your life in there.
No. What was the connection that you felt initially to the character?
Well, I just like the idea of a guy that thinks he's better than he is, and he's got a chip on his shoulder, and you're a little bit delusional and ego-centric, but I think at heart he knows he's sort of beaten. I like that kind of character where you got a guy that's full of himself, but it's pretty clear to most other people that he's not really on top of it.
Yeah. Well, we see in season 2 that he had. I love when it goes. I guess it was a film festival. Was it a film festival?
Yeah. The Sam Sylvia. They were showing some films of his. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you who came up with that the clips from that film, that horror film?
Oh, they must have wrote it. Yeah, Liz and Car. I don't know who wrote that script, but we always knew the names of the movies early on from first season and even in some of the backstory. But yeah, the clips were pretty great. I don't know. There's there's some good people working on that show.
Yeah.
Come up with some good stuff.
Yeah, the clips on that were a lot of fun, and then the episode, it was like the standalone episode, The Good Twin.
Oh yeah,
where
yeah,
they
yeah.
did it, where, it's
Where the
just
entire episode of an actual Glow show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
People love that one.
That was that fun to.
Well, I didn't do much. I mean, I'm in like one music video sequence in that where I'm just sort of dancing.
But yeah.
But
They didn't give you a ton. It was mostly the women.
yeah, it was clever because it's hard to write comedy that's based on kind of bad comedy. You're basically creating a show that was essentially kind of cheesy, bad comedy, and then you have to write that on purpose. Mm-hmm. I think they did a good job.
They did a good job, and it has to be cheesy, bad, but still kind of funny.
Campy, yeah.
But it's all based, by that point in the season, it's the 8th episode, so we've had like 18 episodes with these characters.
Yeah.
And so
You get
much
to
of
know,
it is character-based comedy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think this season you get to know some of the other characters a little deeper. That's the other thing about having a cast that big. Like I know like I didn't work as much this season, so that means that they're focusing on other people. But I do know there are some storylines that really kind of dig in to some of the other characters that you didn't really get to know in the first couple of seasons.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about it's a show like Orange is the New
Yeah.
Black or Glow is that the ensemble is so huge. I mean, they could go on for
You would think.
many seasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of good turns this season. Like Betty Gilpin, like that gets exciting. She's so good. It's great working with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about like you didn't have as much to do this third season.
Yeah.
We had a reader ask, well, have you ever thought about a spinoff?
Sure.
They
yeah.
they want that
Again,
character, the Sam
Sam's
character,
place.
just the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Sam's house. Something weird. I open a restaurant. Yeah.
Maybe you go back into filmmaking.
No, I mean that's possible. I don't know that we need to do a spin-off, but I'm open to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't. They don't really do that on Netflix, do they? They don't do that much anymore at all, do they? On television, I guess television doesn't even exist really like it used to. But yeah, I'm okay with a Sam spin-off.
It'd be like in the 70s, if you had a successful
Sure.
show,
Yeah.
Every character was
Yeah, I
spun
think
off.
Maude was a spin-off. I think.
Maude On the Family, there was Maude, Jefferson's.
Yeah. They
Then
were
the
kind-
show itself.
Lou Grant.
Lou Grant,
Yeah, they did a lot of spin-offs. Archie's Place.
Archie's Place, yeah.
Yeah.
Rhoda.
Rhoda. That's right.
all
And then
those-
Phyllis.
Yeah, there was a Phyllis show too, wasn't
Yeah,
there?
briefly, right? She was great. I wonder how she's doing.
Oh,
Ever
yeah.
talk to her? Cora
I
Sweetson?
haven't. She's one of the best.
She's great.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
talked to Jane Fonda. I put that up today.
I saw that, and
It's a
I'm
good
looking
one.
forward to listening to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That's my podcast, WTFpod.com. Jane Fonda is up today. It was a very nice conversation. Irwin Winkler on Thursday. Did you talk to Irwin Winkler?
Nah. You're talking Towering Inferno?
Did he do that? I think no, that was the other guy. Irwin Winkler did Rocky.
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah.
And he does most of the
Who am I thinking
Scorsese's
of?
movies.
This is the disaster guy from the 70s.
I know it's easy to confuse. Shoot.
We'll look it up.
Winkler did a lot of great stuff. He did, They Shoot Horses, Don't They? He's been around a long time. That was an interesting conversation. So like too much to talk about.
Yeah,
But the Rocky story is pretty great. I mean, it's the gift that keeps giving. They're still making Rocky movies.
they are. They're
Yeah.
still doing really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you just had the 1000th episode.
Yeah.
I think it was
A few weeks
a
ago.
few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Gave you a little time to reflect.
Yes, me and my producer Brendan McDonald, we actually recorded like 4 or 5 hours, and he trimmed it down to about 2. But I think it came out really well. It was nice. It was a nice way to handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like this big revelation at the end of that, or toward the end of that. Like Brendan was saying, yeah, there was a time where I was just thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. It was post Louis C.K.
Well, yeah, the idea was that, you know, if
He
you're,
almost called you.
yeah, it just, I mean, there's just, I don't think Brendan really likes the idea that, you know, out of nowhere someone could disrupt your entire business. You know, I think that the thing with Louis, you know, and because we had done such a significant episode with him, and you know, he was my friend, that you know, that I think it just, for Brendan, it makes things more tentative than he'd like them to be when, you know, somebody who's attached to the show can be taken down, and the idea that it could damage the show, which is, I think it doesn't sit well with Brendan, but we're through it.
No, that was just, I mean, you seemed taken aback when he said that. He was like, really? Wow.
Well, yeah, I just like,
great.
I never thought that that would be necessarily, you know, why we would choose to stop the show. You know, it was sort of surprising, but you know, it's very hard now, just in general, you know, not necessarily around that kind of stuff, but you know, controlling your own narrative and kind of managing, you know, your own place in the public landscape it's fragile, because you just never know when some sort of, you know, pile-on is going to happen for whatever reason.
Right. Well, congratulations on the progress you're making.
Thank you.
I mean, like, and just continuing to evolve.
Trying.
And yeah.
I think I'm doing all right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we all are, but some of us are.
For more of these Emmy conversations, you can go to latimes.com. Thanks for watching.